Stephen, my presentation is going to be, as Bruce said, my name is Brad Myers. I'm one of the attorneys at King Mills working with Texas Brine on the litigation and on the potential settlement of your claims. My presentation is going to be very brief. The last time we were here, we talked about trying to get inspections and offers to people within 30 to 45 days of the inspections, and we're still shooting for that. We're a day or two over 30 days. The 45th day from the first inspection for the appraisal will be on May the 11th, and we're still shooting to have, we hope by May the 11th, we're shooting to have 10 to 14 proposals to the residents who had their homes inspected, both by the insurance adjuster for physical damage as well as the appraiser, to come up with an appraised value as of May the 1st of 2012. We have 10 to 14, hopefully 10 to 14 of those in your hands by May the 11th. So far, we've had 91 inspections for physical damage, and remember there are two different inspections. There's one for the physical damage as a result of, or to determine whether or not things like cracks in slabs, or whether your property has a crack in slab, or windows that are out of kilter or whatever, and the potential that they were caused by the sinkhole. So those inspections, we've done 91 of those. There have been 73 inspections by the appraisers, and they will take those, and over the next several weeks we'll convert those into appraisal reports, which will come up with an appraised value as of May the 12th. I'm sorry, May the 2nd of 2012, or May the 1st of 2012. So there's 73 of those done. We've had 8 additional inspections scheduled for this week. So those 8 will be done this week, and then there are 10 people who have not responded to the appraiser to set up an appointment for that. So hopefully, as I mentioned, by the 1st, so in 10 days, we will start the process of getting the offers to you to allow you to evaluate them. We will, they will be in writing. There will be a written version. You'll get a copy of the appraisal. We will come up with a number which we believe is justified and reasonable. Someone will meet with you, present that to you, and then you will have a period of time to evaluate it. And if you want to accept it, then we'll have to do some paperwork. If you want to, if you think that we have missed something, and you want to, for example, you don't like our appraisal, you want to get your own appraisal, we have a process or a procedure to do that. And as I mentioned the last time, if you want to go to a mediation by an independent mediator, we're willing to do that. So that's where we are in a nutshell, and if I'll answer any questions that I can. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Homeowners are getting their weekly pay. The camp owners have been completely forgotten. I mean, they gave us a check for a short period of time, and then that was it. I mean, we're still not being able to use our property like we used to. And that should be figured into the appraisal as to what it cost us from the time of August to the time that, right now. I mean,
we're looking
we own property out there and we don't have nothing to show.
One of the, I mean, there are a number of things that we're looking at. There's no formula, as I mentioned last time. We're looking at each person's situation individually, and there is a component in the proposal, or what we're coming up with is, at least that's one of the components, is the loss of use. So there is a value to that, and we're going to take that into consideration when we make an offer to you. Yes, ma'am.
The person who has a lawyer, are you appraising their homes?
We are. We've just started that process. As you know, there are really kind of two sets of people who have lawyers. One is we've got the class action litigation in federal court in New Orleans, and we have ongoing discussions with those lawyers related to issues pertaining to a class definition and how to proceed in that litigation. So we're dealing with those lawyers, and we have talked with them about by starting the process, if they want to, of their clients getting in line to have their homes inspected. There's another group of people who have individual lawyers who have not yet filed suit. And I think today we started the process. There were 3 people that I believe there are 3 families who had their lawyers contact me and give us permission to contact the residents directly in order to set up appointments to do the damage appraisal or inspection, and then the appraisal inspection. So that is the next phase. We're starting on that, and hopefully those appointments, those people, I know that there were 3 names that were, I think they tried to contact people today, but hopefully before the end of the week, those 3 people will be contacted and dates will be set for their inspections. If you're represented by a lawyer, I need to get something. Have your lawyer call me. I need to get something from him in writing that gives us permission to contact you solely for the purpose of setting up the inspection. And then when we get the appraisal, then I will communicate with the lawyer what our proposal to settle with you is.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Looking at the people who do not have or have not hired attorneys yet, we may be getting somewhere close to a prescription date. First off, would you define prescription date? And second off, what is your thoughts on that?
Well, a prescription date, in Louisiana it's prescription, in other states it's called a statute of limitations, and what it simply means is that you have 1 year from a particular date to file a lawsuit, or you lose your ability to file that claim. What that date is, I guess, is subject to interpretation, and that's why you have lawyers.
Courts are probably going to.
And I'm not gonna, and one of the issues that we talked about last time, and I've talked with, I think there's, I forgot who it was, the gentleman's here tonight, is Mr. Deaton, I believe, has sent me an email about that. There are a number of factors that you would have to look at to determine when the year starts. You know, somebody suggested May when the first bubble appeared. Somebody suggests when the sinkhole appeared. There is an issue, the class action legally may or may not, and I'm not giving you, if you're really concerned about it, you do need to talk to your lawyer, and I think Mr. Deaton, I think I've talked to a lawyer who I think Mr. Deaton has been in contact with about this issue. Right. But it's not a simple answer, and we're going to do our best to get the offers out before there should be any concern.
The big question I'm concerned about is this. You had just mentioned that you had just started, or Texas Brian had just started the appraisal part, so forth and so on. The question is that the time frame involved in getting an offer versus a potential prescription date showing up may be in conflict.
Yes, you're right, and I suggest to you, I mean, I have my own personal opinion, and my opinion, the opinion that I've given Texas Brian as to the effect of the lawsuit, the effect of the evacuation order, which is still in effect. All those things have to be taken into account to determine whether or not the year has begun to run or if it ends. You know, all I can tell you is, if it is that great a concern to you, and probably should be, is you need to talk with a lawyer and get his opinion on.
I'm glad you mentioned that it should be a concern.
The bottom line is this: if you're you talk with a lawyer. If you're uncomfortable with the advice the lawyer gives you about when the year is, then be quite honest with you, and your alternative is to file a lawsuit.
But you think you're the attorney for Texas Brian. How come you can't give us an answer for that?
Because I'm not your attorney, and I'm under the.
Yeah, but acting like that's a big secret. You know,
No, it's not a big secret. There's no simple answer to it. Just like there's no simple answer to some of the scientific and technical questions. My problem is this: I'm under the supervision of Judge Zaney in New Orleans. I have specific instructions from him that I'm not to give legal advice to any resident. I can give advice to my client. You're not my client, and I'm not going to give you legal advice.
I'm not asking for legal advice. We want to know a date. So that's all we want to know, is
What
what
is the
date
date
y'all
for
consider
Texas
year.
Brine?
year
Now,
one.
what people to cooperate with y'all, but y'all not helping us.
Yeah, we
Well,
don't want to file
I
suit, you
understand,
know.
I misunderstood your, I mean,
You don't wanna hire a lawyer just for
Okay.
that
The
day.
problem
But we
is,
want to be protected, you know, in case y'all don't come to us with a settlement or an offer.
the date, the best date that we have is the date the sinkhole appeared,
August the third.
August the
Yes,
third.
August third, the evacuation date.
Yes.
I would assume would be settlement.
All right, so are you saying, Bill Clark and Ms. Cartwright, are you saying that together you have decided that August the third is the date that you
no, he's not advising.
and is the federal judge, has he decided on a date?
He has not. I will tell you this, I think with confidence that Texas Brine would not take a position that the year began to run before August, before the development of the sinkhole. That's when the event occurred that resulted in the evacuation. So I think, I'm telling you as their lawyer that our position would be that the year starts on August the 3rd.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, the next question is if we are in negotiations and those negotiations extend through August the 3rd, and we still have not had or hired an attorney, are you willing to extend that statute of limitations
Tolling agreement.
while we negotiate?
I don't have an answer for you tonight. I mean,
Can we
we'll get an answer for you before that happens. That there's a legal issue. One thing is that there are court opinions that say that those types of tolling agreements are not valid. So we've got to get over that hurdle as one hurdle. And I haven't discussed it with Texas Brine, and we'll discuss it and come up with an answer for it before August the 3rd.
Well, don't wait till 1 minute before.
I hear you.
Sir,
You
what
know.
you're saying is a judgment on your part and be also a judgment on our lawyer's part.
That's correct.
Can't you just ask the judge for a summary, just a little, a small conclusion for that and report back to us that you can't do that?
No, well, that's what's called an advisory opinion, and he's not going to give an advisory opinion on when the date is. I mean, unless there's something formally filed in front of him, like a motion for summary judgment or something like that, he's not going to tell us. He's just not going to give us an advisory opinion on when the date is.
And so you can't ask him that?
There's no procedural vehicle to do that, to ask him that.
Are you gonna have enough time within 4 months to get all of these homes
Offered.
evaluated or whatever?
Well, if the last, you need to help me with on that, the last appraisal or inspection is done today, or Friday, which is May the 3rd, I think. June the 3rd would be basically 30 days and 45 days, so we'll have offers to those people who have inspections this week between 30 and 45 days from their inspection. So that's, and everybody else who's been inspected before then presumably will have their offer already, so.
But I'm talking about the ones who have not had their house appraised. I mean, there's
I hear
150
you.
families here. I mean, you can't do 150 families in just a short period of time.
I don't disagree, and
Because y'all already started on this late, you know, y'all didn't give us much time to figure this out.
when we get closer to that point, we'll have to deal with that. I just don't have an answer for you tonight.
May I just make a statement?
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't you think that in order to sue someone, you'd have to know who to sue first? I mean, you'd have to have a defendant to
Right.
sue. Based on that assumption, and the sinkhole showing up, and, the bubble showing up, when the bubble showed up, we knew